series with Rhode Island leaving the league. Rhode Island did win the toss and elected to receive. And so the Dukes, they will be defending the end zone underneath the JMU View Jumbotron to the right, as the JMU Dukes will be attacking the student section, the bowl end of the Bridgeport Stadium here in this first half of play. Cameron Stark will tee it up for the Dukes of James Madison. And one thing that's been an Achilles heel for the Dukes this year has been their kickoff coverage, and that'll be something the Dukes will have to pay very strict attention to today. Back to receive is Brandon Johnson-Farrell along with Billy Morgan. And Johnson-Farrell, a very dangerous return man for Rhode Island. And it's going to come all the way back to the 5-yard line. It's Johnson-Farrell there, and he's going to take it up the hash mark on the right side, finds a seam, and he's going to get stopped at the 32-yard line by the Dukes. So not too bad of coverage there with Ryan Smith making the stop for James Madison. Smith did not make the trip last week up to New Hampshire, so it's good to see him back in the lineup here today. So the Rhode Island Rams will start things off offensively at their own 32.
Johnson-Farrell, 6th in the league, getting 22.4 yards per return. As Mickey said during the week, he's hired himself once again to solve the problem on the kickoff coverage.
So it'll be 1st and 10 there, and they do indeed bring out Bob Benston, a sophomore quarterback from Warwick, Rhode Island, out of Warwick Veterans Memorial. He started to take over this quarterback position about a month ago after Steve Prost, a transfer from Hofstra, suffered a concussion. And the first play is a carry from the backfield, and it's going to be a stop by Stephon Robertson as Billy Morgan gets the first tote, and it's only for about a half-yard.
It will be a running back by committee today for the Rhode Island Rams, as running back sophomore Travis Hurd and DeAndre Johnson, 2 running backs on the team, were suspended for violation of team rules. That was 2 weeks ago, so Billy Morgan got the start last week, had 39 rushing yards, and he gets the first carry today.
Morgan is the lone back this time. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and Johnson-Farrell goes in motion to the opposite side. It's going to be a handoff, and Johnson is going to try to spread it out to the right side. He's going to find the seam up the corner, and looks like he's going to pick up a first down, plus a couple of more yards before Dean Marlowe drives him out of bounds at the 44-yard line. So the first down of the afternoon on the second play from scrimmage for the Rams of Rhode Island, as they do use Billy Morgan's speed on the outside edge.
Billy, a transfer from Hofstra, one of the many players who came on the Rhode Island team once the Pride discontinued their football program.
And that was a couple of years ago. The Pride as well as Northeastern that I mistakenly mentioned earlier in the contest. Here is Benston in motion. Goes Bakersville. The handoff to the man through the tailback, and that is Billy Morgan. Morgan goes to the left and picks up a couple of yards, maybe a gain of 3. Mike Allen making his first tackle of the day, the redshirt sophomore from Powhatan, as he is playing about 30 career games thus far, is one of the Duke seniors today, as he was recognized in the pregame ceremony. 2nd down and 7 now at the 47-yard line of the Rhode Island Rams. Rams are very big up front. You can tell that from here. And the fake of the pass, and the handoff goes to man, and he's going to get sacked up, or make that Morgan rather, as he gains little, maybe lost a yard on the play. And that'll just go for, actually they're going to drop it back about a half-yard, and that'll bring up the first 3rd down situation of the afternoon. Tyler Snow making the tackle that time for the Dukes, the all-time leading tackler in William Byrd high school history. Matt?
Rhode Island 7th in the CAA in 3rd down conversions, only at 37%, but the Dukes are no better. They're only 34%. So it'll be interesting to see what the third down conversion battle here is today.
They'll send 3 to the right, and Benston, a very capable thrower. He's going to look now to the left, gets a little flare out to the left side, and it's going to be close to a first down, as the pass will be caught by Chris Mancuso. Levander Jones making the tackle for the Dukes, but it'll convert on the 3rd down for the Rhode Island Rams.
Good job there by sending 3 wide receivers out to the right side, selling that like it was a pass to the right, and dips it over there to the left to Mancuso.
Mancuso out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. In fact, Levander Jones also from Atlantic City, New Jersey, so they probably knew each other beforehand and became reacquainted on this play. And here are the Rams at the 45-yard line, getting their first penetration inside JMU territory. Coming in motion to the near side, it's Johnson Farrell. He'll split out far to the right side. The fake of the handoff, and not much of a fake there as DJ Bryant is there on the tackle. And that was Steve Probst in that quarterback that time. And they'll bring him in on occasion, and generally it is going to be a running play.
Yeah, we're going to see both quarterbacks today. Probst had a concussion in the October 15th loss to Maine. Since then, Betson's taken over the quarterback roles, and he's done a very good job so far this season. He's 63 of 102 for 833 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Does have 5 interceptions on the season. In motion again goes Johnson Farrell. He's going to cut to the right. Here's a pass play, and he's sacked. The ball comes free. They're going to say he was trying to pass the ball forward, and they're going to just say that it was an incompleted pass, so no sack will get registered there, I do not believe.
That is one thing that the Rams have done constantly throughout the season, is turning the ball over. They've thrown an interception in every game except one. So they're worse than the CAA in the turnover battle at -9, and that's kind of like we've been talking about these close games, and the reason that their record is 3-6 is because they're just not winning the turnover battle, and in tight games like that, that's the deciding factor.
That will go as an incompleted pass, so they go back up to that previous line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 9 at the JMU 44. One back in the backfield. Going back to pass again, Benson, and his pocket's going to collapse, but he's going to squeeze out of it, and he doesn't get much further than that. And the Dukes will get a chance to take it over as Josh Hogan comes in to make the tackle for the Dukes of James Madison. Hogan, a redshirt defensive end, a redshirt freshman from Fairfax, Virginia. 4th down. And now back to punt will be Lewis Feinstein.
Feinstein, the CAA Special Teams Player of the Week for his game-winning field goal last week in the 24-21 win over the Tribe of William and Mary.
Daquan Scott is back at his own 10-yard line. Here's the punt. It's going to be a low punt. Shank to the right, and that's going to give the Dukes excellent field position. It's going to come out, bounce out of bounds at about the 35. Maybe they're going to mark it at the 36-yard line. So the Dukes will get an excellent start at field position after a very poor punt by the Rhode Island Rams. And even though he is the reigning Special Teams Player of the Week, that play wasn't much special about that.
Yeah, I don't think he got that award last week for kicks like that. But now we see the JMU offense, a different offense as we've seen in the past couple weeks, with Justin Thorpe coming out onto the field.
They're taking a media timeout here, and indeed Justin Thorpe will come back out and play for the Dukes of JMU. Again, coming off the 5-game suspension in his 4 games thus far this season. He carried the football 45 times for a net of 163 yards. No touchdowns for Justin. Meanwhile, in the air, he completed 32 of 48 passes, had 2 interceptions for 409 yards and 3 touchdowns. The longest was 52 yards. And when you compare those passing numbers of Thorpe to the passing numbers of Jace Edwards, well, the average yards per game, Thorpe isn't that much less at 102 yards per game, where Jace Edwards during his span was 122 yards per contest. So not much difference between the two as far as the air game is concerned. And you really have to kind of do the numbers to think about that, because I would have thought Jace's numbers were going to be substantially higher, because he did have a couple of good games passing the ball during that stretch. Yeah,
we won't see Jace Edwards today with that dislocated shoulder and the ankle injury he suffered last week against New Hampshire. It's going to be all Justin Thorpe here today. Jace was 2-3 in his absence.
So we do expect to see Thorpe tote the football for the Dukes here this afternoon. And the Dukes will start with a single back in the backfield with Thorpe, and that is Daquan Scott. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right, split far to the right side for James Madison. That's Kirby Long in motion. The handoff, the faked, and here comes Thorpe, and he's got a lot of running room over the 40 to the 45 and pushed out at midfield. So the first play, Delaney making the tackle, or pushing Thorpe out of bounds rather. The first play goes for a big chunk of yardage. That looked very easy for Justin Thorpe.
Yeah, welcome back, Justin. As we see, he gets the read option there, fake to Daquan Scott, and just takes it himself. That's JMU's rushing offense right there, 2nd in the CAA. Has been 1st all season up until last week when the Towson Tigers took over the #1 position. So the Dukes are getting 215 yards on the ground. We expect to see that a lot today.
They average about 240 in games against FCS teams. And here's Thorpe the other way as again he fakes it, then comes to the opposite side, gets to the 35 and pushed out of bounds at the 36-yard line. So it's a little Justin Thorpe right, a little Justin Thorpe left. And the Dukes already deep into Ram territory.
Yeah, you think Coach Matthews missed this over the past 5 weeks?
Yes, he did. I can tell you that for a fact as I sat with him on Thursday morning, as I typically do, to talk about the upcoming game. And, you know, he was matter of fact about it. He thought that Jace certainly played the game well. I think the fans, the coaches, everybody likes Jace Edwards as a quarterback. But Justin Thorpe, just like Rodney Landers did for the Dukes, gives you a different dimension. Here's Thorpe again in the shotgun. This time he's going to hand it off to Daquan Scott. He cuts against the grain, keeps his balance down to the 15 and out of bounds at the 12-yard line. And the Dukes, they're in a hurry. Evan Shields making the stop, and the Dukes with 3 consecutive plays, 3 first downs.
One thing I was curious to see today with Rhode Island defending the run so well, they're 4th in the CAA, but over the past 2 weeks, they haven't really done that good of a job, giving up 236 to William & Mary, and then 214 before that. We're going to see a lot of runs today with numbers like that if this keeps up.
Here's a formation we don't see very often, but it does harken back to the Dukes win over Virginia Tech, the pistol, where you've got basically the shotgun formation and the tailback lined up right behind him, but now it's going to be split off. Now they're going to decide it. Yep, coming right up even with him now is Daquan Scott. Scott will take the handoff and whirls to the right, and he squeezes through a couple of tacklers and takes it across the 10 down at the 9-yard line. Delaney making the tackle for the Rhode Island Rams as the Dukes with their first drive moving down the field at will for the most part. 8:41 to go in the first.
One thing JMU wasn't able to do in the wins or in the losses over Old Dominion and New Hampshire was they weren't able to get 7 in the red zone. They were coming up and getting 3 points. They're 9th in the CAA in red zone offense, so they really need 7 here.
In motion, it's Kirby Long. The handoff. Nope, it's faked. Thorpe will take it, cuts against the grain, heading for the end zone. Touchdown for the Dukes of James Madison University. Welcome back once again. Justin Thorpe leading the Dukes right down the field for a score.
And his first rushing touchdown on the season. Had you told him earlier in the season that your first rushing touchdown would be 10 games in, he probably would have said no way.
Well, it certainly would have helped if he were not suspended for the 5 games, but that's all behind him now. And now Cameron Stark will come in to attempt the extra point for the JMU Dukes.
Rhode Island having a tough time defending that read option there.
As Stark will split the gold uprights. So with 8:16 to go in the opening quarter, JMU with its first drive with Justin Thorpe back. Number 7 helps the Dukes put 7 up on the board.
There's going to be an offsides call there. Will be declined.
So the Dukes in their opening drive, they first of all had excellent field position at the 34-yard line, and they move it down.
I think it was
for
five runs.
5 plays, all on the ground, 67 yards. And for Justin Thorpe, he accounted for 44 of those plays. 44 yards of those plays, I should say.
We see the replay there of the run. Good blocking up front by the offensive linemen, who have kind of been hampered by injuries these past couple weeks. And Cunningham and Matt Williams have been replaced to fill the void for Josh Wells and A.J. Scott.
Again, a 5-play, 64-yard drive, and it took just 2:09 on the ground to get the ball into the end zone for the JMU Dukes. So Cameron Stark will be back to kick it off once again with 8:16 to go. And we'll get our second look at a return possibly from Brandon Johnson-Farrell. Also back there with him is Billy Morgan, standing back at the 5-yard line. Got the wind at his back, does Stark on this kick. It's high in the air. It's going to come down to 6. It's muffed back on the turf now. Picked up by Johnson-Farrell and then laid out there by JMU on the tackle, Corey Davis. Davis may have got a stinger on that one. He laid there on the turf for a moment.
Very difficult to do anything once you cough up the ball on a special teams because your speed just has to stop right here. As we see, he doesn't fully catch it and then kicks it with his left foot there and then kind of doesn't get much yardage after that as Chad Byers comes in on the tackle as well.
Davis had a sack for the Dukes last week on a corner blitz. So the Rhode Island Rams with their second possession. And the little swing to the right side. There's a receiver out there to block, and a nice play underneath. Good pursuit by the JMU defense, and that keeps it to a minimal gain just up to the 20-yard line. It's Vidal Nelson there to help wrap things up as that reception pulled in by Johnson Farrell.
Rhode Island, the only winless on the road this season, the only team in the CAA to not be ranked at all at any point this season.
Kind of got behind the 8 ball, but they have not lost big. They've had a very good number of close losses in their 6 defeats thus far this season. 2nd down and 7. Handoff goes to Morgan. He's going to get tripped up as he reaches the line of scrimmage. Does lunge forward to pick up 1 yard. And we get a lineman making the tackle that time for the JMU Dukes. I think that was Jordan Stanton in. Yes, it was.
They haven't done a very good job at closing games. They gave up a game-winning drive against Syracuse on the opening weekend in the waning seconds, and then they gave up 20 points to UMass a couple weeks back and ended up losing that game by 11 points. So this team's been around. They've been pesky.
They'll have a 3rd down situation at the JMU 23. Here's a flag going back to pass, and out of the grasp, he's going to throw it wide to the right. It'll be incomplete, but there was a a flag was thrown in the pattern early, we'll say.
I think that's going to be an offsides on the Dukes, which would, I believe, give Rhode Island a 1st down.
It'll be a 1st down.
So it will be a 1st down. They needed about 4, and they pick up 5 on the penalty. Vidal Nelson a little upset about that call, and he'll come over to the sideline.
Got to avoid mistakes like that in games where you have to win them. The Dukes are 8th in the CAA as far as the most penalized teams.
Well, and there's a penalty. This is going to be illegal substitution.
Substitution infraction. Offense. 12 players breaking the huddle. 5-card penalty. 1st down.
Billy Morgan wasn't sneaky enough to get off the sideline. It was spotted by the official. By the way, our officials today, referee is William Board. Ed Kiefer is the umpire. Mark Andrew, the head linesman. Line judge Jim Slayton. Back judge Brian Thomas. Field judge Rusty Acree. And Darren Patrick is the side judge. 1st down and 15 now. Faking the handoff. No, he'll go ahead and give it to Morgan. Morgan hits the pile, then bounces to the outside. Picks up about 4 on the play. And good gang pursuit tackle by the JMU purple and gold, led by defensive end Tyler Snow.
A bunch of purple jerseys over there. Morgan was dancing around in the backfield for a little bit, couldn't find himself a hole, and then kind of pushed it to the outside.
Does gain 4 yards on the play. 2nd down and 11. Ball is spotted at the URI 26-yard line. 2 receivers to both sides. 1 man in the backfield for the Rams. In the shotgun, Benston. Quick 2-step drop. Looks to the right, and a nice catch there as Johnson Farrell lays out to pick up the 1st down. Dean Marlowe there on the coverage for JMU. An excellent thrown ball by Benston.
Johnson Farrell's 32nd catch of the season as we check out the throw there.
He's from Odenton, Maryland, Arundel High School. You know that guy? Who was that? Where Billy Kosh went, that's right.
Yeah, him and Billy Kosh actually back in high school established a single-season school records for receptions, yards, and touchdowns. And I believe Billy Kosh at the end of his career there had the most passing yards ever in the state of Maryland. So those 2 guys know each other very well.
An incomplete pass, making it 2nd down now for the Rams. Benston will go up under center, the sophomore. He's going to bring his receiver in a little closer now. Going to line him up on the opposite side. And that is Bynum. Power to the right. They're going to try to cut it up the middle. Morgan will cut it to the right. Nothing doing there as the JMU defensive line doing an excellent job here in this 1st quarter. Tyler Snow, once again, 3rd time we've already called his number in today's game. And now where the Dukes need to limit these 3rd down conversions, as the Rams have been good early on 3rd downs. It says 1 for 2, but it's They also picked up that one on a penalty, so I don't think that statistic is correct. At the 42-yard line of Rhode Island. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Vinston off the shotgun, looks to the right, floats it out there, and that's not going to be good enough for the first down, as Pat Williams is there to make the tackle for the Dukes on the reception, second of the afternoon for Chris Mancuso.
Coming into this game, he hadn't had a single reception, so kind of throwing a little wrinkle there for the Dukes, getting Mancuso involved early.
It'll be a 4th down, and the punting unit coming back on again. Lewis Feinstein, who had a terrible punt the first time, a massive 11 yards on the last punt. They spread it out wide. This time it's Pooch down the left, right down the center of the field rather, picked up by Daquan Scott. He whirls away from a couple, gets a nice block on the edge, takes it out of bounds as he is chased out there. Willie McGinnis catches up to him, but Scott
timeout on the field.
Living a little dangerously there, but let's watch that return again and watch the seal of a block on the right side. Let's see if we can pick it up on our Madison replay. And we may not, as the isolation is there on the return by Scott.
I think Chad Byers was one of the guys to offer a block. Couldn't get the number of the other one.
So 7-0 James Madison with our media timeout. 4:38 to go. Let's give us a chance to remind you that the JMU basketball Dukes will open up the season tomorrow. The men do. The women opened up last night with a win up in Connecticut, beating Quinnipiac 81-73. 20 points for Tariq Hislop and a career high. That wasn't a career high for her, but she helped lead the Dukes to that win yesterday, and the Dukes remain on the road and play at American on Sunday afternoon. That'll be a 2 o'clock start. Meanwhile, the men will be playing Canisius over at the Convocation Center at home tomorrow. And if you check your schedule, that was originally slated for a 2 o'clock start time, but because Madison is the host of the CA Men's Soccer Championship game tomorrow at 1, that basketball game was moved up to a 4 o'clock start, and we want to thank the folks from Canisius for making a change on their schedule with that as well. Also want to tell you, Lauren Whitehurst, she had 17 points in that win yesterday for the Dukes, and that was a career high for the transfer from Boston College.
Probably a little bit weird for Coach Brooks to coach a game without...
what's her name?
I'm drawing a blank.
Dawn Evans.
Dawn Evans. Jeez, I was thinking Dawn Staley down there at UVA.
My, how quickly we forget.
My, yeah, that was bad.
Here's Justin Thorpe. And Thorpe in the shotgun. He carried for 44 yards. He's going to carry it the first time here on this possession. Cuts it up the line, and he'll cut back against the grain a little bit. Dave Zacco will make the tackle.
Thorpe does have 163 rushing yards this season, along of 29, averaged 41 rushing yards per game prior to the 5-game suspension.
Zacco with that sack, with that tackle, rather. He had 9 tackles and a sack in a win over the Fordham Rams. As that was really a day of headbutting between those two programs.
He leads the team in tackles, and he ranks 16th in the league in tackles.
Here's the option again, and Thorpe will keep his own number as this time he gets his shortest gain of his 5 carries thus far this afternoon. And this sets up a 3rd down and a long 6. Short 7, we'll say.
Rhode Island's done a good job adjusting to the run on the first 2 plays of this drive after that 5-play touchdown drive, all on the run.
Dukes have yet to try to put it up in the air. You've got Scott in the backfield. Taking the handoff. Now the pass on the right, going over the top and misfires. As the intended receiver was Arlandis Harvey.
Yeah, he had him out there too, just overthrew him a little bit. That's probably some timing issues, just getting back into the swing of things at practice and stuff. Doesn't exactly have the timing down as we look at the replay here. You can't see Harvey's route, but he's just running a straight go. David
Scott will come in to punt, averaging nearly 40 yards a punt on 28 this season, 9 of those dropping inside the 20. He'll be standing back at his own 25. Good snap. high kick, and the Dukes should have great coverage here. In fact, it'll be a fair catch, and it's called for there by Anthony Bakersville, a senior from Newark, New Jersey, out of Dean College. Another transfer for the Rhode Island Rams. So the Rams will take over again, and right now the special teams for the Dukes have been okay in this ball game after struggling last week.
Yeah, JMU's given up 20 kick returns of 20 yards or more this season, and 11 times those runbacks have led to points, 7 touchdowns and 4 field goals. So usually when the Dukes are giving up those long plays, it's not good news.
Receivers, twins to the left and to the right with a lone man in the backfield. And the screen over to the right side. That was read well by Tavion Cuffey and then finished off by Pat Williams on the reception by Bakersville. Nice play there for the JMU defense. It does gain 3 yards on the play, but very little yards after the catch, maybe a couple of steps afterwards. And Pat Williams, the senior, with the tackle. 2nd down and 7. They're going to give him 3 yards on the play officially. Splitting to the near side, it's Johnson Farrell. 2 receivers to the left. Doug D'Angelo in the backfield. And he'll take the handoff. Comes to the right side, and look at the pursuit by the Dukes. Backside pursuit by Aaron Harper that time. That wasn't D'Angelo, rather. That was Nicholas, that is, the ball carrier. Now, let me correct that again. Excuse me. That was Madimbi. So 3rd down for the Rams. They're 1 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. Two receivers split wide to the left on the near side, just one on the boundary side. In the backfield, it's Mancuso. Look at the Dukes loading up on the left side. Now they're going to come the blitz over the middle, and that blitz coming in by, actually wasn't blitz, it was a stunt by DJ Bryant as a defensive end from the right side. He came right up the middle of the chute.
Yeah, came and tackled Benson right at the knees. Fortunately, he's okay and gets up. As we take a look at the replay here, you just see DJ coming in from the left side there. Beats that block on Mancuso and gets a nice little hit on him there. A little low, but acceptable.
Dukes will have 2 men back to return here with Scott. And it looks like it's going to go in Scott's direction. He's going to retreat back to his 32. Cuts it back up inside. Going to get to the outside now, up the middle of the field, and tackle there at the backside of the JMU logo at the 45 by Zucco. And with 1:54 to go in this first quarter, the Dukes with the 7-0 lead, scoring on their opening drive. Dukes with that first drive. Justin Thorpe, a 10-yard run, a 5-play, 64-yard drive. Dukes now with their 3rd possession here in this first quarter of play. 1st and 10 from the 45. Thorpe hands it. No, fakes the handoff. Is looking to pass. Now he's going to pull it down. Thorpe still looking down the field, and he's going to just throw it away nearly into the stands. Somebody about went home with a souvenir after that one.
Good decision there by Justin Thorpe, as no one was open downfield. He probably could have ran it for maybe a yard or 2, but decided to make the wise decision and toss it out of bounds instead of taking a lick and possibly fumbling the ball.
So 2nd down and 10. Thorpe now 0 for 2 on passes.
Coming into the game, he was 32 of 48 with 2 interceptions for 409 yards.
Jordan Anderson gets the carry this time. Anderson across the line of scrimmage, continues to drive. Picks up a couple of yards on the carry. Doug Johnson, a junior linebacker, making the tackle.
First time we've called Anderson's name this afternoon. 657 total yards on the season with 6 touchdowns. Probably the best 1-2 punch that the CAA has to offer.
Sophomore, redshirt sophomore from Chantilly out of Westfield, and 6th in the CA with his yards per rushing average.
Yeah, him and Daquan are 6 and 7 respectively.
Thorpe will go back into the shotgun with Daquan Scott this time. And timeout is called by the Dukes of James Madison.
James Madison.
Should just be about a 30-second timeout here with 1:05 to go. Well, as I said, Dukes will play in front of about 120,000 in the 5 home games here this season at the expanded Bridgeport Stadium. And JMU ranking 3rd in the country in attendance in the football championship subdivision, as the welcoming arms of Bridgeport Stadium invites folks in here. Look back at the numbers here. Of course, in the home opener, 25,102. In the homecoming game, 25,742. And then against Maine, 25,047.
There's some game stats for you there.
And both teams with the equal number of first downs.
Surprising to see that Rhode Island's been dominating the time of possession. 9 minutes and 28 seconds with JMU's rushing attack.
That first series didn't take very long. Here's a pitch to the outside. Jordan Anderson. Anderson cutting up over the 50. And he gets drugged down right there at the 49-yard line as James Timmons comes in to finish him off. 4th down, JMU. Cameron will make that David Scott back on with the punting unit for James Madison.
Dukes decide to be conservative there and play the field position game, and why not? Rhode Island's done nothing to show the Dukes defense that they can move the ball effectively on them. As Scott is going to try and put it inside the 20 for the 2nd time this game.
Scott with a 40-yard punt the first time. Bakersfield, the lone man back. Very high punt angled towards the corner, and it's going to go out of bounds, and this will drop inside the 20 as well. They're going to have to walk it up the field a little bit, and a spot at the 11-yard line by David Scott. Well, David had a really good August punting the ball in the preseason, and then did not have a tremendous start to the year, but lately has been back to the form that he was back in August.
Such an asset when you can have a good field goal kicker and a good punter, because you can just play with field position, and you can really win the games by flipping the field. And this is what JMU's doing right now, is going to hopefully put Rhode Island. The objective is to get a 3-and-out and get the ball at midfield and then work from there for a score.
The Rams back at their own 11-yard line. This time it'll be Steve Prost, the former Hofstra Pride quarterback who beat the Dukes when he was with Hofstra a couple of years back. Prost in the shotgun. The handoff right into the waiting arms of Aaron Harper. The ball carrier goes, and that was Billy Morgan. And a big loss on the play for Harper.
That's going to bring us the last play of the first quarter, as the defensive line has just been outmanning the Rhode Island front 5 right there, as we see a bunch of Dukes beat the blocks there.
Yeah, up until that play, the Rams had run 18 plays for 55 yards. You can subtract about 5 yards, 6 yards off that first quarter total. So after the first quarter is in the books here with Justin Thorpe returning as the quarterback for James Madison, the Dukes have the 7-0 lead. And they're having a Duke Club check presentation, as today's ball game is being presented by the Duke Club, and the Duke Club representatives down there with JMU Athletics Director Jeff Bourne, Dr. Riley down there, Brian Fricking, and the Duke Club reps raising money for not only the scholarships for the General Athletic Fund here at James Madison University, and encourage particularly those of you who are watching or listening that are former JMU student athletes. You can join the special edition of the Duke Club, the Letter Winners chapter, and that will help us. Part of those funds actually end up going to your team that you played for as a purple and gold member of the Dukes. And we certainly do encourage you to become a Duke Club member, whether you are a former student athlete or not, and help to support the scholarships in the general fund here at James Madison University. O'Brien and his staff, they work extremely hard so that the JMU student athletes have the best possible financial support here at JMU. 2nd down and 16 as our first play. It goes to Prost. Prost is going to cut to his left, and he's going to be met at the 10-11 yard line there. Pat Williams, Sage Harold, and Jakari Jackson there for the Dukes.
Prost, the 3rd best rusher on the team, is the only CAA quarterback to pass for 1,800 yards and rush for over 600 in a season. He did that last year. Was the preseason All-CAA first team this year, but hasn't quite lived up to that billing, maybe in large part to that concussion he suffered against Maine on the 15th.
3rd down and 10. Benston back in at the quarterback. He's got Morgan in the backfield. 2 to the right, split out, 1 to the left on the short side. Surveying the field. Here's a crossing pass, and the ball is caught, but cut down right away. Corey Davis. And Migleris comes up with the catch, but it is well short of the 1st down. The Dukes will get it back again, and they should again get very good field position. Just a crossing pattern, and Corey Davis right there to take him out.
Dukes are going to go with the 2 punt returners again. Never know what this could bring, maybe a reverse.
Feinstein this time gets it right down the middle of the field, and it's fielded there by Daquan Scott. Scott gets around a couple. He's got some running room across the 50 to the 45. Tiptoes his way through the 40, now to the 35-yard line. And an excellent, very patient return for Daquan Scott. Stanley Dunbar eventually catches up to him. And let's watch that return again here on Madison. Look at Scott shed that 1 tackle. And then he waits for his blockers to set up there and just weaves his way through. And that gives the Dukes excellent field position as they'll start this drive. Their best starting position of the afternoon at the 34-yard line.
That's Scott's longest punt return of the season, as he's going to take a breather, and Jordan Anderson checks in.
Anderson, the lone back, out of the pistol formation, the fake. Now here's Thorpe. Thorpe looking up the field, nothing there, and he's going to be taken down in the backfield. Just couldn't quite shake the tackle of Doug Johnson.
Yeah, he's looking downfield there, I believe, at Orlandis Harvey. Or actually, that was Kirby Long he was looking at, but the Rhode Island secondary has done a good job at covering the wide receivers today, as Justin hasn't had much time to. He's just kind of been dancing around trying to make a play happen, but the safeties and cornerbacks have done a good job staying on their man.
Well, Coach Matthews, I asked him in our pregame on the JMU and Tele Sports Network about last week. The 13 possessions, 6 of them went 3 and out, and I asked him about that. He said, well, play calling had a lot to do with it, so I was kind of surprised he was going for the pass on that first play. Here's Thorpe as he is going to hesitate and take it straight up, as he'll get back the yardage that he lost on the previous play. But now the Dukes are faced with a 3rd down. Actually, he's going to pick up a couple of additional yards, so it'll be 3rd down and 8.
Quarterback draw the whole way there. Good block by Anderson. So Thorpe was able to get a seal for a couple extra yards. Dukes are probably in 4-down territory. I don't know if that is going to affect the play calling at all here.
Well, Cameron Stark, a very capable kicker, of course. You've got Jordan in the backfield. 3 to the split far to the left side, including Andre Coble. Taking the handoff, and Thorpe will keep it himself. Thorpe gets around a couple, continues on. He's going to spin down at the 20-yard line. He may be just shy of the 1st down.
I think they're going to spot him 2 yards short.
Delaney making the tackle. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Great run there by Thorpe. Just really just trying to keep the play alive and dancing there, as it looks like Mickey's going to keep his offensive unit on, as he's going to bring in John Sharp, the big boy package here. Interesting to see him not kick the field goal. It would be, what, a 42-yarder. That's in Stark's range.
Without question. Of course, the wind down that end. Of course, it's being blocked by the Plecker Center, but it is coming right in the face of the Dukes here. And under center this time it goes Thorpe. The timeout is called by the JMU Dukes.
2nd charge, timeout of the half, James Madison.
Coach Matthews is going to maybe possibly rethink the decision, or maybe just draw up another play based on what he saw there from the Rhode Island-based defense.
There you see the flags atop the JMU video board. And they're not quite as active as they were at the start of the ball game. And the Dukes with the 82 yards on the ground to 18. No passing yards thus far for the Dukes. 42 for the Rhode Island Rams. You see Thorpe 0 for 2. Benson 6 for 9 for the 42 yards. But only a 16 long for the day, and that's key, just making those tackles. Thorpe also the leading rusher for the Dukes, 8 carries, 56 yards. Morgan 7 for 15.
With Thorpe back in the lineup, you kind of have a three-headed monster on the ground between him, Daquan, and Jordan Anderson. Never know who's going to get the ball. JMU still going to decide to go for it here as Thorpe gets in the shotgun.
Bernard Robinson will split to the near side. He'll join Kirby Long out there. It's Anderson in the backfield. And in motion, it's Barlow. Barlow sets there to the right, and it's going to be a read by Thorpe. Thorpe will get the first down. Or does he? Yes, he does. Delaney making the stop. So he takes it down to the 22-yard line.
Just a simple option there, and he elects to keep it. Makes the wise decision. Probably not going to stop an option from the Dukes on just 2 yards.
So now 1st and 10 from the Rhode Island 22. A short field for the Dukes, trying to capitalize on this possession, leading 7-0. Faking the handoff, Thorpe. He's going to get outside, and then he's going to be tripped up. Zonko with his 3rd tackle of the ball game. A sophomore from Nashua, New Hampshire, went to Nashua South High School. Had an interception a year ago when he had 21 tackles in his rookie campaign. Kirby Long will split far to the left side. Coming to the near side, it's Robinson. 2 tight ends in the formation for the Dukes, and the lone back is Jordan Anderson. Thorpe stepping up to the line of scrimmage. Now he'll back up out of this pistol formation. Here's the snap. It's Anderson on the carry, getting to the outside, but he's going to be dragged down from behind as Manny Williams will drag him down. 3rd down and 12. The Dukes losing a couple of yards on that play.
And what will probably be a passing situation. Maybe see if Justin goes to Barlow like Jace Edwards used to go to a lot of. Barlow, a redshirt junior, pretty big in the passing game when Thorpe was out.
He is the leading receiver as far as numbers are concerned. Here's the fake, and now the throw goes to the right corner. He's got a man open, and touchdown, James Madison University, as the Dukes tack on their 2nd score. And it is Bernard Robinson making the catch in the corner.
His first touchdown on the season. Justin had 2 options there to go to. Both of them were open. As a nice crisp pass there to Robinson for his first touchdown reception of the season.
That gives the Dukes a 13-0 lead. And Cameron Stark in to attempt the extra point. And it is through there as the Dukes with a touchdown in each quarter thus far.
Media timeout on the field. Media timeout.
And that'll bring us to a media timeout here as the Dukes out in front 14-0.
Good blocking there up front by the offensive line to make that play happen.
Good for a 24-yard touchdown pass.
Just the way Mickey's been calling this offense today, you can just tell how much he missed Justin. I mean, Justin's, when he's not running the ball, he's passing, and he's in on every play. He's been a part of both of these drives, and this 7-play, 33-yard drive only took up 4:08 on the clock, and really, Thorpe has came back into his own and has done an outstanding job so far in this first half. To really where the Dukes wanted to get was jump on them early. They don't want to have this team kind of hang around like they've done in the past, and Rhode Island has been playing close games, so they're definitely aware of how to play a close game, even though they haven't closed in on them. But JMU's definitely doing a good job here of jumping on them early and trying to put them away before half.
Well, they closed in on William & Mary last week as they scored 17 fourth-quarter points, and then ended up with a victory over the Tribe, 24-21.
These are games that you don't want to look back at the end of the season and wish you maybe did something differently in this game. So JMU clinging on to its playoff lives is certainly living up to their billing right now as they're trying to make a case to get into the 20-team playoff.
Couple of scores for you. Old Dominion defeats William and Mary 35-31. Monarchs are certainly in the playoffs. They're 9-2 overall. And UMass had a lead early on Maine, but the Black Bears come back, score 13 points in the fourth quarter, shutting out the Minutemen in the period, 32-21. So Maine remains atop the league standings now at 6-1 in CAA play. And that was a big interest game to Towson. Towson trailing New Hampshire early in the first quarter at Towson, 7-0. New Hampshire.
Onside kick here.
And it's a little pooch kick, and it's fielded by the Dukes as they caught Rhode Island napping.
Great play there. Great call. Rhode Island was completely caught off guard there, and even at the start, Cameron Stark kind of ran up and showed them that he was going to kick it like an onside kick, and Rhode Island didn't do anything about it.
Aaron Harper receives the kick. All it has to do is travel 10 yards.
And it really wasn't even looking like a Rhode Island person was trying to get this ball as we take a look at the replay here.
It'll give the Dukes an extra possession. Just a pooch kick.
I mean, this Rhode Island guy's running out of the play.
Nobody was over there.
I don't even know if they quite understood that that was an onside kick.
Is that Harper? No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. Anthony Rose. Okay, so it was 89, not 39.
Dukes are going for the knockout punch right here.
And a whistle to stop play. This will be something the officials have to chat about here for a moment.
Going back to that UMass and Maine
We
game.
set the game clock to 9 minutes, 13 seconds. 9 minutes, 13 seconds.
Wow, that's a long ways off from 8:19.
The Dukes' next opponent next week will be the Minutemen of Massachusetts in their final game as a CAA member. So be very curious to see how they go into that game. It will be their senior day.
UMass now at 5-5. They really have been Jekyll and Hyde this season. You don't know what to expect out of UMass. Expected them to play a little better this season. Here's the fake, and now Thorpe will get caught in the backfield. He's going to be wheeled down, making the sack as Zacco's had a heck of a first half here for the Rhode Island Rams.
Yeah, through his 9 games this season, Zacco has either set or tied his single game high in stops on 5 separate occasions. So really just getting better as the season goes on and having a tremendous first half here.
Loss of 4 yards on the play. Second down and 14. Ball at the Madison 45. Thorpe will be in the shotgun with Daquan Scott this time on this offensive series. Long to the right. Long will go in motion. Handoff goes to the inside man, and that'll be Daquan Scott. Scott whirls his way up to the 48-yard line across the midfield mark. Zacco again making the tackle. I'm actually going to say he's down at the 49 on the JMU side of the midfield stripe with 8:14 to go. 14-0 James Madison.
Third down here for the Dukes.